delighted now to be joined on INX Prime by the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Palestine, Francesca Albanese. Ms. Albanese, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Good evening, Ms. Albanese. I think your mic is just muted at the moment.
No, it's on.
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear now. Ms. Albanese, I'm joined in my studio by the former Turkish Ambassador Ayşegül Kandaş, and I leave it to you, Ambassador.
Yes. Francesca Albanese has been a powerful advocate for international law and human rights and the first woman to hold this mandate, a mandate that sits at the heart of one of the most contested issues of our time. Ms. Albanese, very honored and privileged to have you here with us today. So I'll just go right away.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead right into the questions. So your journey from Italy to the United Nations has been a remarkable one, your career. What first drew you to human rights law, and how did that path eventually lead you to Palestine?
What you said at the very beginning that I could hear, integrity and capacity to stand for others, which is what human rights are about after all. And this is, of course, the journey that has accompanied me throughout my life. And then, yes, this mandate in particular has requested a lot of sacrifice on my part, but also I have kept the light very, very clear ahead of me, the light of integrity and objectivity. My work is not simple, and at the same time is simple. It's to look at the facts and assess them according to international law. So what I've done is simply speaking truth to international law and denouncing the horrible reality in the occupied Palestinian territory as one of settler colonial apartheid that unfortunately has not been stopped. International law has been violated through and through, not just by Israel, but many states in international community, unfortunately, and this is to end for Palestine, but also for all of us.
Yes. Before your UN mandate, you worked extensively with refugees and displaced persons. How did these experiences shape your perspective on justice and humanity?
Totally. The fact of knowing what Palestine and the Palestinian people have endured over decades is what has made myself so aware not only to the injustice, but to what injustice has done to the people. Pain, sorrow, humiliation, and indignity. And this is why I demand member states to end all of these and to restore a sense of trust in international institutions and in international law.
Ms. Albanese, it's Mohammed Beki again. You've spent a few days in South Africa. We heard you at the Nelson Mandela lecture speaking very highly about South Africa. But how do you see the role of countries in the global south, including South Africa, in advancing justice and accountability on the international stage?
I see this work, this role, as yet to be accomplished and yet to be fulfilled. In the sense, while South Africa has played an incredible role in filing the genocide case before the International Court of Justice against Israel for violations of the Genocide Convention, I do expect more from other countries in the global majority, those countries that have once broken the chains of colonial oppression. But of course, that job is unfinished, and it's true in this continent, and it's evidently true in Palestine. So this is the time to give full meaning to global solidarity. And we should remember that solidarity is not just a word. It means action. It means standing together for one another.
You've been accused of many things in the last few years. You've been accused of being anti-Semite. We've seen so much personal criticism thrown at you. But in this time, what does impartiality versus neutrality mean to you in practice, especially when human rights are being violated at such a high scale, especially what we've seen during the genocide in Gaza?
Look, I can tell you, denial of genocide, for example, is one of the constitutive elements of genocide itself. How can we prevent something that we refuse to see? And this is part of the explanation of why any voice that has stood against the oppression, the violation of rights and freedoms of the Palestinian people has endured what I do endure. Smear, vilification, personal attacks that have become more and more violent, almost to look like a form of persecution. But at the same time, there are two things that matter for me. One is that the work of liberation is not of one people alone or one person alone. This is a test for humanity, and we need to respond together to this system of injustice. And whatever is being thrown at me and others, the Palestinians first and foremost, is just a set of ways and means to distract us from what matters. We are attacked so as to be silenced, so as to be made vulnerable, and so as to make us dysfunctional. And the moment we realize that we cannot be controlled by fear, fear loses its power, and intimidation loses its power. And yes, let them continue bark. We need to fly higher and higher for all of us.
Very good, yeah. You've described human rights work as amplifying the voices of those not heard. What voices have impacted you most in your time as rapporteur and also in your whole career? I'd like to ask you. Yeah.
Well, there are far too many intellectuals and far too many freedom fighters that I can list here. But those I mentioned in my Nelson Mandela lecture, that I was really privileged and honored and humbled to be able to deliver here in South Africa. From Gramsci to Mandela, there is an entire universe of enlightened people who have paved the way toward liberation, not just in South Africa, not just of this continent, but also all of us, including in the global north, which I call the global minority. Today, so many people are understanding that they are, in their effort of liberating Palestine from oppression, they are also liberating themselves. And in this sense, over the journey of the past 2 years, I've been inspired by so many individuals, ordinary people, teachers, students, and anyone who has endured sacrifice in order to be part of this togetherness. I keep on saying, we are in this together, and while we do that with a sense of awareness and pride, we are one.
Thank you. What would you say to young women, especially those in the global south, who aspire to careers in international law and advocacy, but fear the backlash that often accompanies moral courage?
It's not just about the path that you choose, whether it's of international law or not. Human rights belong to us, not just to lawyers. Human rights are not for academics to write expensive books that we are just asking students to read, and then we get uncomfortable when they use those concepts to vindicate those who do not have rights, those who do not enjoy those freedoms that we proclaim and we teach. Human rights belong to all of us, to each of us, whatever the path we are on. Therefore, it's to continue following the path for justice, because this is what is going to make our life decent and humane.
Francesca Albanese, It was an honor and privilege having you in our studio this evening. Before we let you go, on behalf of the ambassador and myself, we know you spent some time at Robben Island today. In less than a minute, just tell us your feelings of being on this historical island.
This was the second time I visited Robben Island, and something that I hadn't noticed or hadn't really struck me as it did today was the fact that apartheid was reproduced, including within the cells, within the space of that prison. The fact that distinction among human beings was reproduced through meals, through spaces, through clothes. But this is the thing. The system of oppression will always keep us into roles. And decolonizing our spaces means realizes that whatever privilege we have to renounce it. Enjoying rights is about renouncing the privilege we have. And this is not a sacrifice. This is an act of love. It has been done inside Robben Island, and it can be done elsewhere.
Ms. Albanese, thank you so much for your time this evening, and we wish you all the best as your trip to South Africa comes to an end.
Thank you so much. And please
Thank you so
continue.
much.
Continue to inspire and motivate us on the path of truth. Thank you.
Wow, that was such an amazing interview, and just getting a whole lot of different opinions, and just listening to Francesca Albanese speaking.
Yes.
She speaks with so much feeling about what's happening in Palestine. What did you make of it?
Wow. Very impressive, and the sincerity and the honesty that you see in her is also special. I think I'm telling you this as a diplomat for the past 31 years. What I have seen is this. You know, you stick to the script, you stick to your instructions, and you might lose a little bit on the sincerity along the way when you need to defend the position of your country and all that stuff. Diplomacy is not exactly very much authenticity. You see what I mean? You cannot be like yourself as if you are in real life. Diplomacy comes with protocol and all kinds of stuff. What I have seen in Francesca Albanese is that she cares about the content and what she is doing. She cares about the plight of the Palestinians more than about herself. Just before we started, we were talking about, you know, how much personally she has to sacrifice. This is called sacrifice. She is sacrificing from her private life, first of all, her children, her family life, and also financially even. But she does not care because she is like in a war, maybe, on the path of truth. So in that respect, I think she is powerful, and she does not want to, as you could see during her time here in Gauteng, in Johannesburg, she did not want to talk about her personal plight. She did not want to talk about herself, what she's encountering, her difficulties, because it is about the plight, the suffering, the sacrifice of the Palestinian people. And she is there kind of representing the unheard voices of women, children, and men in Palestine. So in that respect, I think we do have a lot of, I personally have a lot of respect for her, and I wish her all the best and all the success in her endeavors.
Ambassador Ayşegül Kandaş, thank you so much for co-anchoring the segment with me. We've been looking forward to this for the last 4 days. We finally got it. And it was I really enjoyed being in studio with you this evening, and hopefully it's the beginning of many more important interviews we can do together.
I hope so. Thank you so much.